Welcome, Cabbage here. Let's have a look at Monster Strike, and then starting today is the Bleach collaboration. And then, like usual, I'm going to pull in the Hatcher, and then we'll do an overview of all of the characters, and maybe look at which Hatcher monsters are worth pulling, and then which drop monsters are worth making the max luck. But first, let's do a 10 shot in here. And I'm only going to do the single 10 shot because I just want the 4-star characters. And go. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is one of the 5 stars. Kiya, I think. So yeah, we'll definitely talk about her. Okay, this is one of the 4-star characters. Okay, good. This is the other 4-star character. Let's see if we can get another 5-star. No, okay, but that is fine. And actually, starting with this collaboration, the characters are not actually coming out as 5 stars, the featured characters. This is like a pre-transcendent, and then they have only the single form, which is the transcendent form. But yeah, let's go through, let's look at the characters, and then think about who's worth what. I think that was it there. And this guy. Okay, so let's go through the monster Pedia, and then I guess we'll just go in order. I'm gonna skip the 4-star Hatcher monsters because you want them, of course, so try to get them. They're always strong. So here, this is one of the Transcendent Hatcher monsters, and this is the guy that I wanted the most. Stats are good, attack is very high, it's going to be well over 30,000 with the gauge, and then he's got a triple null, which is why I wanted to get him. And I apologize, I don't know anything about Bleach, I don't know any of these guys' names, so you can fill in the blanks. But he has Flight, Null Gravity Barrier, passive, and then on the gauge, Null Block. Super versatile triple null ability. And then just for that reason alone, I would say he is the best of the 3 Hatcher monsters. And then bump combo, he's got the super piercing homing shot, 18, which is very strong. He's not a blast type, but still very strong bump combo. And then he's got the single glacier hit, like hits a random target, does 200,000 damage, also very good. This will be especially good against a boss when he is alone, so good damage from his bump combos, and also his direct attacks. And then Strike Shot, it's a speed and power up, and then a first character that he hits will get like a giant ice blade, which will go across the entire screen. And a lot of the Hatcher monsters from collaborations, they will have this kind of Strike Shot, because, you know, they're based on manga and anime, where the characters have their like signature attacks. They're kind of like 2 varieties of this, where it's a speed and power up, and then the first character you hit gets the attack, and then there's the speed and power up, and then the character where you end up the closest to gets the hit. The one where you hit the character first, which gets that super attack, that's the better of the 2. So this guy's good for that, just because it's easier to use. Okay, next up is the, I guess I will talk about one of the 4-star Hatcher monsters. And then she is great because she is a Pierce with a triple null. Null Gravity Barrier, Null Damage Wall, Super Null Damage Wall, sorry, and then Flight. It might be worth it to some people to pull in the Hatcher until you can make the 90 luck of her. Because she would be super versatile, and then she could take care of a lot of your kind of max luck needs for 5-star and under quests just in one character. I'm probably not going to do that. She also has the Fiend Slayer passive, and then the Kidon, which is that single fireball, which goes out and hits the character that she is closest to. And then Strike Shot, very vanilla, just to speed and power up. Oh, but then she gets the speed and power up throughout one round, so that bump combo will continue to be strong. So she's pretty good. She would be worth making the 90 luck if you were to pull a little bit in this hatcher. Okay, next up is Kiya. This is the character that I pulled, and she's actually the one that I wanted the least because she's very similar to Ayanami Rei, the Transcendent form. But stats are solid overall. Speed is pretty good for a balance type. Light with no warp, weak point Slayer, and that's passive in her, so that's pretty strong. And then recovery M and status recovery, both of those on the gauge. So single null ability, which is kind of disappointing. And then I think a lot of people were disappointed by the Hatcher monsters of this collaboration. I think expectations were a little high because Bleach is super duper popular, and then also these were the first collaboration monsters to come out straight as transcendent forms. So yeah, the two main characters, they're not as strong as people were hoping, which isn't to say they're bad, they're just solid rather than like super overpowered. But Bump Combo is good. She has the Fellow Laser EL. I think she's the first character in the game to get that. But that's where she shoots out a one-way laser, one to each of her teammates. So based on your team's positioning, that can do good damage against whoever is in the way. And then she has the power-up field, which is the same as Kamail. And this is a pretty strong bump combo. It's good support, but then she also has her own damaging bump combo on the side. So good balance there between her two bump combos. And then Strike Shot. I think this is the similar to the last character, but the not as good version. Speed and power up, and then the character that she ends up close to will get the super attack. So yeah. But yeah, functionally she's very similar to Ayanami Rei. Another bounce, light with no warp, and then the recovery. Probably Kiya here. She has better damage dealing capabilities with the bump combo and then the weak point slayer. Ayanami Rei has better defensive abilities because she has the barrier, and then she has the strike shot where she can give your other characters barriers. So I'm probably going to stick with Ayanami Rei because I already gave her some able berries, took her through the temple, but still happy to have Kiya here. Okay, next up is the main character, Kurosaki. And then him too, he only has the single null ability, which is Minesweeper M. He's also a bounce, which also kind of limits his usefulness. He does have the Light Slayer, that's pretty powerful with him as a dark element character. And then on the gauge, he has the Strike Shot Reducer, and then the Soko Jikara, which gives him more attack with your HP under 50%. Bump combo is pretty good. It's the Super Dimensional Blades. That will lock on to the character with the weakest HP and then do damage on them. And then the Cross Wave, which is pretty easy to use. He has the Critical Luck skill, which is nice for a character with a Slayer. And then the Strike Shot, another speed and power up. And then for a limited time, he has a kind of a special counter attack. So yeah, it seems a little underwhelming, this character, but as you know from looking at previous collaborations, like the next 6 months at least, they will design quests so that this character is strong. So you have that to kind of fall back on. Okay, next let's look at the drop monsters. And then usually what happens with a collaboration in Monster Strike, either the Hatcher monsters or the drop monsters are very strong. And then in this case, it's the Hatcher monsters which are kind of so-so, and then the drop monsters which are really good. So let's look at them. First, this is a Kenpachi, I think, and then he's just a standard extreme monster. Stats are pretty good. He's a power type. Speed is slow, but he does have the dash on the gauge, which can help with that. He is a fire bounce type. He has a double null, the null warp, null magic circle. And that's a nice double null ability. And still, very few characters have that. And then 1 or 2 of them are also collaboration monsters. So if you miss those, definitely make this guy. I'm going to be making this guy. He also has the full resistance, which means I think it's 20% less damage from all elements, so that's great. He also has high HP, so he'll be pretty tanky on your team. Bump combo is the Shining Pillar, which we haven't seen very much, but it's like one giant area shot, which will hit randomly somewhere on the screen. It's a fun bump combo to kind of see where it lands, and if it does land where you want it, it can do good damage. He is a power type, so it won't do as much damage as Catastrophe, but still pretty strong. And then Strike Shot, this is crazy. He gets the speed up, and then he also picks up Weak Point Slayer, Counter Slayer, and All Element Slayer. This is insane. This will go into his bump combo as well, and then the effect will last for, I think, a round. So you want to try to hit this guy during that time if you can. Get some good damage in there. Okay, next up, this is kind of a special monster. He has this form just out of the box, but if you finish the max luck of him, you can unlock this second version. So definitely make the max luck of him, and then you'll be able to slide him back and forth free of charge. So it's kind of like getting two max lucks for the price of one. And then both versions of him are really good, so I would definitely say make the max luck of him. I think his quest is higher difficulty. It'll be similar to Meta, but I think it's like the system where every chest guarantees a drop of him, and then he'll be available very, very often throughout the collaboration time. So definitely make the max luck of him if you can. But the first version of him is Fire Bounce with Minesweeper and Null Damage Wall. That's a very nice double null ability. There are some collaboration characters that are no longer available that have this double null, and then there is Ochise, I think. But I have the max luck version of Ochise. I'm going to make the max luck of this guy because I like the other version of Ochise. But bump combo also very good. It's the super homing pierce shot, 8 as opposed to 18, but 8 is still pretty good for a drop monster. And then the strike shot is pretty good. It's a speed and power up, and then as he is moving during the strike shot, he will hit all characters on screen. So it's kind of like a meteor strike shot plus speed and power up. Really, really good for a drop monster. So yeah, that would be another good reason to make him. And then the second evolution version of him, also really good. Again, fire type. He's a Pierce with null damage wall, null gravity barrier. Very few drop monsters have this double null ability sling style combination, so that already makes him really good. And then he has a regen, so that will restore, I think, 2,000 HP to you every turn. Not every round, every turn, so that's really good. Bump combo is the rebounding wave, which is very good for a drop monster. And then strike shot, again, crazy. He picks up super null gravity barrier, super null damage wall, super null warp, and then flight. So it's like a null everything, but the super version of it. So you do want to hit a damage wall before you hit anybody else, so you get that power up. And then with the super null gravity barrier, he'll get the speed up. And then with super null warp, he will get extra attack based on how many warps are on screen. So super duper good max luck here. Okay, and then we have a couple of 4-star drop monsters. We'll skip them. And then here is the single drop character, Ichimaru Ging, I guess. This is the type of quest where you play once and then you get one drop. Generally, I do not like to play these quests because the characters usually aren't worth the effort. And then I think the last couple, like Umi Bozu from the City Hunter, the quest was kind of difficult. But this time I might be inspired to make this guy for only one reason. It's because I'm very low on medals. So if this character, if his quest is easy enough that I can go through with a medal farming team, then, it wouldn't be that much of a difference, speed-wise, or number of times that I have to play it wise. So I might make the max look of him. As a character, however, he's not super inspiring. He's balanced with Minesweeper, that's not too exciting, but he does have a triple Slayer, Deity Slayer, and then on the gauge, Sprite Slayer and Samurai Slayer. These are all pretty good Slayers. There are lots of deities and sprites out there. Lots of deity bosses, lots of sprite little guys, and then Samurai, I think there's a lot of Samurai bosses. So he could maybe have a niche. He has a fairly good bump combo. It's the lock-on shockwave, the super version, so 25,000 damage per shot. This does not pierce, which is too bad, but still decent. And then his strike shot, it's a point and shoot, and then gives poison to whomever it hits. And that will have good synergy for another character we'll look at soon. So yeah, based on how easy this guy's quest is, I will make the max luck of him. And then here, Mayuri. This is the guy who might have good synergy with the previous character. He is a dark Pierce with Minesweeper and then the Null Magic Circle. So yeah, it's a pretty nice double null ability. Not a lot of characters have that, so I'm going to make this guy as well, I think. Attack is pretty low. Actually, stats overall are low on him. But he does have the Recovery S, that's nice for a Pierce character. And then Poison Slayer, which means any enemy who has the poison effect on them, Mayuri will do extra damage on them. Bump combo is the lock-on Poison Wave, which is pretty good damage out of the box. And then he is a Blast type, so that's extra damage there. And then with the Poison Slayer, he will do more damage on everybody who has the Poison status. So really nice kind of synergy with his abilities within himself, and then nice synergy with the other character we just talked about. And then Strike Shot is really interesting. It's another speed and power up, and then that like yellow baby thing will come out and then poison everybody on screen. Very creepy Strike Shot, but very effective. And then again, good synergy with himself. So yeah, I'm definitely going to make the max luck of this guy too. And then finally, this is interesting. This is Aizen. He is a secret quest. And then I'm making this right around noon, so I think still nobody knows how to access this guy's quest. Either it will be the Shishio or Dyna style, where you play one of the Bleach quests and then this guy appears afterwards. If it is that style, I'm going to skip this guy, because I don't like having to be in one mindset, play this one quest, and then switch that mindset to this difficult quest, and then play this guy once, and then go back to playing the other one and just going back and forth. I didn't like that with Shishio, so I actually gave up on Shishio halfway through. It was just too annoying. The other way that this might be available is that if you go into, like, say, a Bleach quest with a certain character, you will access this guy's stage right away. This is similar to like the Christmas character. I forget her name, but yeah, if it were that style, maybe I would make this guy. And then I say maybe because he's kind of the least whelming, or the most underwhelming character of all of the drop monsters. But he is dark, bounce with the null gravity barrier. That'll become super null gravity barrier with the if you max his luck, and that's it. Just a single null ability. I have a ton of characters that are balanced with a null gravity barrier. He does have two Slayers, the Dragon Slayer and the Samurai Slayer, but those aren't super common either, so yeah, I don't know. Bump combo is so-so. It's the super homing 12, so a lot of damage per hit, but it only hits once per shot. And then the strike shot is maybe his best aspect. He gets the speed and power up, and then when he stops moving, he refills your HP to full. That is a guaranteed full HP recover. So it could be a good like support ability, but I would rather use a character which, you know, maybe does more damage with their strike shot. So yeah, I'm not super interested in making the max luck of him. If it's a super easy system, then maybe I will do it, but otherwise I'm going to skip him. But yeah, that is a look at Bleach and all of the characters available. I think if you want to pull for one character, it would be for this guy, because he's got the triple null. If you need like a do everything 5-star max luck for 5-star and under quests, you can go for this character. And then for all of the max lucks, I would kind of make all of them. They're all pretty good, so yeah, this should be a good event overall to put your time into. Okay, so good luck with your pulls, and then maybe I'll do clear videos of the drop monsters since they're pretty important. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.